Celebrities have a lot of expectations when they go and do certain things, including doing interviews for various reporters and shows. They're usually expected to be nice and to stay in character if possible, and things like that. But sometimes you can't help but break down because the interview either angers you, says something stupid, and so on. Given that, allow us to show you 6 stars who fired back at their interviewer on live TV. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 6. Joan Rivers on CNN. The late comic Joan Rivers was legendary for speaking her mind, and a testy 2014 interview with correspondent Frederica Whitfield for CNN's newsroom captured her in true form doing just that. Rivers was appearing to discuss her new book, Diary of a Mad Diva, and things got off to a shaky start with Whitfield calling Rivers work on fashion police, mean, and noting the shock value of the cover of Rivers' book, in which Rivers appears wearing a fur coat. Rivers pushed back right away, asking Whitfield whether she was wearing leather shoes and telling her to shut up. Rivers then told Whitfield that she was negative and, quote, not the one to interview a person who does humor, end quote, and stormed out of the interview. A befuddled Whitfield was left alone on screen, asking, "Are you serious?" "Yep, we are." Rivers later explained to the Wrap that she felt justified in ending the interview, saying, quote, "Whitfield did not seem to understand we were talking about a comedy book and not the transcripts from the Nuremberg trial. Every question was an accusatory one, designed to put me on the defensive," end quote. Whether that's true or not is honestly up to you to decide. Because Rivers wasn't the best person ever. Number 5. Paris Hilton on Good Morning America. Heiress and reality show veteran Paris Hilton was none too pleased during a 2011 interview with ABC's Good Morning America when correspondent Dan Harris boldly asked her, quote, "Do you ever worry about your moment having passed?" End quote. A visibly annoyed Hilton looked around for a moment, loudly sighed, and then walked off camera. Prior to Hilton's walk-off, Harris had gone in with a blunt question like, quote, "Is it true that when you're not on camera, that your voice drops and you're much more serious?" End quote. And, quote, "Do you worry at times that the people who have followed in your footsteps, like Kim Kardashian, are overshadowing you?" End quote. After taking a minute to consult with her publicist, Hilton returned to the interview to flatly explain that, quote, "I've been in this business for 15 years now, so it's been a very long time, and just like any other business person or someone in the industry, it's always important to reinvent yourself and come up with new projects." End quote. And if you don't know, Paris's moment has not passed. She's worth a lot of money right now because of her branding and businesswoman status. Kim K has to work a lot in front of the camera to keep her value up. Paris honestly doesn't anymore. Number 4. Chris Rock on Jay Leno. Chris Rock is a legendary comedian who had been on numerous TV shows, movies, comedy tours, commercials, including a recent one for the Super Bowl, and more. He knows how to give a joke and take one. And he's also very quick-wit on his feet when it comes to thinking of a comeback when needed, like he did during a talk with Jay Leno that started out in Leno's favor, but Rock took the day. This one time he was with Leno, and Leno was asking if he had seen any good movies recently. Rock was a little suspicious, but noticed that he had some good ones, and that they were good and that he enjoyed them and all that, but he could tell that Leno was wanting more out of him. So he dropped the line, quote, "Well, nothing is going to be as good as my movies," end quote, to which Leno quickly replied, quote, "Well, obviously," end quote. Chris took the hit and gave a great backhand, noting, quote, "Hey, you've done movies too, and your last one went straight to audio," end quote. Jay couldn't help but break into laughter on that one, because it was really funny. Both Rock and Leno have done things that bombed, and they've kept good spirits about it, but sometimes you just have to make it known that one of them bombed worse than the other, which is part of the fun of having these conversations at all. Number 3. Jerry Seinfeld on Larry King Live. This particular interaction is easily one of the funniest live TV moments for reasons we'll get to. Not the least of which was because this was one of the rare super flubs by Larry King, a man who has been doing his job for decades, yet he forgot something very important about the star that he had on, and it led to an endless amount of jokes at his expense. How did this all go down? It all started when he had on Jerry Seinfeld, and this was just after the Seinfeld Show, a show about nothing, was finished and he was doing his next project, B-Movie. Naturally though, Larry King brought up Seinfeld and talked about its 9 years, 180 episodes, and Larry had noted that Jerry had gave it up in terms of continuing the series, which Jerry agreed to. So at this point in time, everything was fine. Nothing was going wrong at all, but then Larry King said, "You didn't get canceled, you canceled them." This gave Jerry a great big pause before he noted, "You're not aware of this?" And then Jerry basically went into a tirade about how Larry King didn't know that Seinfeld was the #1 show at the time, and that the series finale went on to be watched by 75 million people, one of the biggest finales in TV history, and that Larry King thought for whatever reason that Seinfeld was canceled. And when Larry King tried to defend himself, Jerry wouldn't give him an inch. There's a big difference between being canceled and being #1. Larry King tried to end the interview by promoting B-Movie, but Jerry still wouldn't let it go. Quote, "Can I get a resume to give to Larry?" End quote. You might think that Jerry is burning King too much here, but Jerry's got a point. It would take no time at all to see that Jerry's show went out on top and had a mega finale that drew in a lot of viewers, yet he somehow thought it was canceled. That makes no sense, and that's why it was funny and Jerry was fair in his incredulous nature. It should also be noted that B-Movie did do well, even without Larry King promoting it. Number 2. Catfight. Anne Hathaway made no bones about the fact that she wanted the role of Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises, and many agree she did well in it. But what didn't sit well with her was an interview going on and on about her body and her suit, such as nothing about how in great shape she was, and having to get into more great shape about her body, and that the catsuit must have been comfortable since it was form-fitting. This went on and on until she blasted him with, quote, "It's all the boring stuff that no one ever wants to do. It's just watch what you eat and get yourself into the gym. Are you trying to lose weight? What's the deal, man? You look great. No, seriously, we have to talk about this. What do you want? Are you trying to fit into a catsuit?" Hathaway said flatly. We're pretty sure he didn't like that. Number 1. How not to talk to Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is one of the biggest stars in Hollywood, period. But anyone who knows him knows that he honestly has a history that he's not proud of. And it was the role of Iron Man that made him a big star again. So when you're talking to him, you should focus on that and not his past. But in April 2015, a conversation between UK's Channel 4 news presenter Krishan Guru Murthy and Robert Downey Jr. turned real awkward. Guru Murthy directed some fairly personal questions at Downey Jr. about his stint in prison and quoting old interviews. To Downey Jr.'s visible discomfort, "Are we promoting a movie?" he joked. Once the conversation turned to Downey Jr.'s earlier battles with drugs and whether he was free of all that, the actor completely shut it down, saying, "I'm sorry, what are we doing? Bye." He then got up and walked out. She tried to defend herself by saying that he could have said he didn't want to talk about that part of his life. But that's not her right to say. They were to promote a movie he was doing, not going back into his past. Downey Jr. later appeared on Howard Stern to describe his side of the encounter, saying, "I just wish I had left sooner. What I have to do in the future is give myself permission to say that this is more than likely a syphilitic parasite, and I need to distance myself from this clown. Otherwise, I'm probably going to put hands on somebody, and then there's a real story." Respect the person you're interviewing. It shouldn't be that hard. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the various interviews with celebrities that went horribly wrong for one reason or another? Which of these celebrities do you feel the most bad for in terms of the interviews they got? Which ones do you feel could have handled things a little better? Do you know another interview that went wrong because of the interviewer or the star overreacting? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.